Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Wolf. Welcome back to the channel. The Dragonfire add-on received its second and biggest content update. In this video, we're going to go over what was added for which version, check out some of the new gear, and take a look at the newest dragon, the Bee Dragon. But first, do me a huge favor, smash that subscribe button, as well as drop a like on this video if you found these Dragonfire videos helpful in any way. We are about 100-ish subscribers away from 4,000. Dude, 4,000? That's massive. Special shout out to all of you who have already joined the Wolf Pack. Thank you guys so much. I do want to preface that this is the second update. So if you haven't watched the first update or the full guide, I will link those down below. They are very helpful if you are new to the channel or if you are just now seeing this video. Try and circle back to those first. That'll tell you all you need to know before getting into this video. Let's go ahead and take a look at the newest dragon to make its way into the game. This is the Bee Dragon. And let me just say, this design is fantastic. It's a perfect mix of what like a dragon and a bee. I mean, look at those little antennas. Look at him! It's adorable. Now this guy and all his gear are only available on the core version of the game or the paid version. Also, this armor, I really wish the wings worked like elytra or something, but I know it's probably a little bit too much to ask at this moment. These add-ons are still pretty limited. They're brand new, but with those limitations, it's pretty amazing what the devs have been able to do so far. Now, the Bee Dragon can only be found in flower fields, like the one you see in the area around me. Not just any flowers or near bees or anything. It specifically has to be a flower field biome. The Bee Dragon also drops honeycombs and eats them as well. The Bee Dragon armor set grants the user Haste 3, which is absolutely fantastic. It's like having a max beacon up around you at all times. And the weapon, I love what they did with the weapon. During the last community poll, when this dragon was first announced, Spectral Studios said that they hadn't had a design picked out or perk ideas for the armor and the weapon. So they wanted the community to give them suggestions. I'm pretty sure they took my idea. Originally, I said that the Bee Dragon armor should make you look, well, like a bee, duh. But for the weapon, I said it should be a honeycomb hammer, and it should give the slowing effect to enemies like they're stuck in a bunch of honey. Well, guess what? That's exactly what the bee hammer does. And it even has the design that kind of makes it look like there's honey dripping out of the honeycomb. Ugh, I love it. Such a good design. Now, I do wish that they had stuck with the original elemental bonus that the Bee Dragon gives, which is wind, so that's knockback. Imagine having knockback from the wind on top of the slowing effect that the quote-unquote the honey does. Send your enemies flying, and then they're slowed, and they can't even get back to you. That sounds like a pretty insane combo, in my opinion. Another one of the new features that was added was the ability to slow or freeze the aging process of the dragons. You can interact with them by using a clock to slow their growth rate and keep them babies much longer. Some of these baby dragons designs are pretty freaking cute, so I definitely see the desire for this add-on. Another highly requested feature was the ability to have a follow command or some sort of behavior change to where the dragons would follow you around. In order to get into this menu, you just need to use your Dragonpedia, left-click on the dragon, and go down to Behaviors. Toggle the Follow Owner on. You can also toggle the Protect Owner on, which turns the dragons hostile towards enemy mobs. Another huge feature that was added. It seems kind of silly for you to have this all-powerful dragon and it just kind of sit there and watch you get eaten by zombies. So I like that this was added. The other huge part of this update was the addition of the scale blocks. There are 30 new block types in the game, each one being crafted from your extra dragon scales. Now, remember those restrictions that I was mentioning earlier? The devs don't have the tools to create different types of blocks, i.e. like, stairs or slabs. Now, just changing the texture of the one-by-one block is all they can do for now. However, once more tools become available in the dev kit, they said they're definitely going to work on making more block types. But even with just these being the 1x1, the designs are actually really cool. So here we have the Magnus block, and I really like the look of the design of this one. It follows that same motif of like the magma and how it almost looks like these bricks are kind of like melting from within. Very cool block, and I think it'll make some really nice looking nether brick pathways. Okay, so here we have the ace block. Now, is it just me, or is this the scale has always reminded me of like a hot dog, or maybe like a pill or something? I don't know. It even has like the little bun-esque piece looking thing here. However, when you put them together in this block pattern, I think they look pretty decent. They get rid of that like bun looking thing and make it more look like a diagonal brick pattern. And I think that as a pathway maybe, or maybe some tile flooring, these could look really nice. Okay, on to the Night Stalker. These are decent. I think what they were going for was like hieroglyphics or like little symbols, because the Night Stalker kind of gives you that ancient Egyptian cat vibe. I like the purple and the gold, and I like how they match together. Each block makes the pattern, and they line up at the corners. I just think I wanted a little more gold out of this, but maybe for like a window design or like a wall pattern, I could see this working. Now we got the Storm Falcon, and we just copied the feather of the scale throughout the entire block, which is neat. I'm not sure how you would have designed this otherwise, but I think this could be like a cool rug or something, but I don't see me being able to use that in any type of like exterior block. Now we have the elf scale block, and to be honest with you, I think this one is the most disappointing one for me. I was really expecting to see more of the little swirl on the scale and not just the green. I think it's kind of plain and there's no really character here. I really wish that they had done more with this one, but you can't win them all. And I think that the next couple are really cool. Here is the Nightlight block, and it's essentially just like a greenish blue like cobblestone, and I think that's really cool. It kind of almost has this 3D effect that up close is hard to tell, but when you step back from it, you get this, there's almost some depth to it, and I really like that. Okay, here we have the Sakura dragon, and I think what they were going for was like the pink flower of the tree itself, but I think I probably would have preferred a pattern closer to what was like the pink petals once they've hit the ground, where it's a bunch of little tiny flowers all over the place. I think that would have been a little bit more aesthetically pleasing instead of just this big pink eye, but that's just my opinion. Maybe some good floor tiles, I don't know. Okay, up next we have the Mummy Dragon, and I think it... Sir, excuse me. Trying to make a video over here. Get your... sir. Okay, like I said, the Mummy Dragon, I like this one. The aesthetic stays the same as the actual dragon itself. Things look wrapped. They have the drapings throughout. It has depth. It's got some color to it in the back, but still maintains that like mummified look. This is a good one. Okay, on to the Foley Falcon, which again, same idea as the Storm Falcon. It's like a pattern of the feathers throughout. Although this one kind of has more like a leaf look to it, or maybe like tiny little trees, which kind of go with the, the forest theme of the Foley Falcon. It's definitely easier to see from further away. It's kind of the fact with all of these, like really close, they look kind of weird. It's just a bunch of blobs of colors, but from far away, you definitely get to see the pattern nicely. Now the Ram Talon. It doesn't look like there's a whole lot going on here, but I really like this one. It gives that like ancient Greek kind of vibe with the swirl, or like I don't know what pattern you call this. It is a swirl, but there's not like circles in Minecraft. I could see this like on some pillars, or like lining the outside of a room of like an ancient Greek temple. This is a cool one, and I'm definitely going to use this at some point. I'm just not sure when. Okay, this is the Snowflake Dragon. Now, I'm a little conflicted because the Storm Stratus kind of looks like it should have been the snowflake dragon. We'll get to that one towards the end, but keep this one in mind because I think they should have been flipped. We'll come back to this one. Here we got the Storm Bolt, basically just gold brick blocks, but in actual brick form. I think this is a good one. It could easily be used for some exterior brick designs. You could throw it in like a treasure room because it looks like a bunch of gold bars. That one has some utility to it, and I like that. This next one has to be one of my favorites. This is the Myth Dragon, and I don't know what it is about this one. It has almost like a misty effect to it. It's hard to tell from up close, but when I back up here, you can kind of see, like, it almost looks like waves of these red tiles or red cobble stuff. I don't know what it is, but I really like the look of this one. Okay, onto the Shard Dragon. This is a great representation of what the actual scale looks like. You even have like what looks like ice crystals going through the blocks that almost represent the scale itself, but then kind of the same thing as the dragon with ice shards. I like it. I'm not sure how I would use it, but I like it. Okay, this is the Gladys Dragon scale blocks, and they're essentially just regular stone bricks, but then they have this like gold trim on the outside of all of them. I really like that. The thing I'm not quite sure about is how, you see on this top pattern here, it doesn't go around the corners. It looks fine when you stack it with multiple, but a single block itself, the pattern doesn't quite match, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. Now I have the same feelings about this one. This is the T-Rex Dragon, and again, the patterns when they are together look fine, but the single blocks, they just look off when the pattern doesn't quite line up. So I'm not entirely sure how I would use that. Again, another good flooring one if you're going to put multiple together, but single block looks odd. Okay, these are the Rex Dragon blocks. Now these are really cool because they give you that like steampunk look, almost kind of like copper blocks that look like they have like metal plating on the sides. And I think that that's kind of what they were going for here. These are going to look really cool once version 1.21 comes out and we get those new dungeons that have like the more metal and kind of steampunk-esque feel to them, and we're going to get some different blocks there. Those are going to match nicely. This is the Cobra block, and there's not a whole lot going on here, and I'm not really sure how it fits the Cobra theme. It's just the same colors. Now this one is one of my other favorites. This is the Zombie Dragon, and I love the rhomboid, almost slate-looking pattern here. I'm thinking roofing. I'm thinking like shingle-esque. I don't know. I love the contrast of the orange and then the green in the front. Very good design. I like this one. Now this is the Frogon Dragon, and I liked the meme version from the previews that we got of these that was just the frog's head and not the scale, because the scale, to be honest with you, is just kind of gross. It almost looks like a pukey design. Not a fan of this one. This is the Dragula scale blocks, and they're okay. They kind of honestly remind me of a redstone block, but just like a slightly different design. I'm kind of on the fence about this one. I do like aspects of it, but then it's just kind of meh. And now we got our Solar Dragon scales. They're nice. They're a little busy, and I think it's just because the scale itself is so big. Maybe if they had made the scale a little bit smaller and put a bunch of them on the block, it would look a little less... I don't even know how to describe it. It actually kind of looks like a face now that I'm looking at it. Okay, the Searclaw ones are another good one. They have like this fiery cobblestone look to them. Actually, way more representative of like dragon scales. I just look at this one and think lizard. Alright, now we got the Tiger Dragon. Obviously, we're going to go Tiger Stripes. And I think this one did a pretty good job at the Tiger Stripes. They didn't kind of keep the same pattern over and over again. You have some stripes that kind of end, some that continue through. From far away, it looks really good. It almost has depth to it, just like the mummy dragon did with the bandages, but this one with the stripes. This is another good one. Now this is the new bee dragon scale blocks. They did a pretty good job at making it kind of look just like the honeycomb block. But I think the honeycomb block had the color scheme a little bit more accurate. This is a little too much orange, and it almost gives me like giraffe scales, kind of. Whereas the actual honeycomb block is more like light orange shades, and I think that the bee scale block is a little just too dark orange. Okay, the warden scale blocks, very similar to the nightlight ones, but I think just a slightly bigger pattern. Again, good depth, very like eerie cobblestone looking. I like this one. It was very easily be used for a path around my house. Or honestly, kind of like, I wonder what it would look like underneath water, because it almost looks like pebbles, like on the bottom of a river. That would be a neat idea. And here we have the clang scale blocks. And honestly, these just look like an upgraded version of like stone brick blocks. And I like it. They almost have like a reflection on the top to make them kind of look metallic-y. Kind of going for that metal vibe. So instead of stone, you have metal brick blocks. And I like that. All right, on to the Blaze Falcon. Similar to the other two falcons, copy of the feather onto the blocks. These ones have the more fire look to them. Further away, much easier to see. Close up, just kind of a bunch of mix of colors. Good rug, maybe. I'm not really sure how I would incorporate that into a build, but you guys get creative. Maybe let me know in the comments how you would use that one. Now this is the Tidewing scale blocks, and it's a good mix of like prismarine and dark prismarine. It's almost like right in between, where you get the lighter color of the prismarine, but then the same pattern as the dark prismarine. I like how that matches that kind of scheme, and could easily be used in a water or an aqua theme build. All right, last one on the list is the Storm Stratus scale blocks. Now, I told you guys to remember the snowflake block, how it was a little square. Now, in my opinion, I think snowflake, because they dropped the snowballs, should be a little bit more round like this one is. I get what they were going for, because the Storm Stratus is a cloud, so they were going for fluffy. I don't know. I think I personally would have flipped the two designs for those dragons, but you guys let me know what you think. Now, real quick here, I just wanted to mention there are already some known issues with, any release. There's always going to be things wrong. The new age freezing does not work on some dragons. I was testing on the new bee dragon and was unable to get it to work, but others were testing on the rest of the dragons and they seem to be fine. The Storm Stratus dragon armor still is not granting the double jump, only the feather falling. Not sure what the issue with the stacking perks is. The new behavior toggle switches are not working either. I was able to turn them on for a brief moment, but once the window is closed or the menu is closed, the toggle does not stay on. And spawn rates are still pretty crazy. Those are pretty much they can't control that at the moment, but they are looking at testing a new tool which will allow users the customization or the option to customize the spawn rates of their own world or their realms. Again, more tools need to be unlocked in the dev kit in order for the Dragonfire devs to have this kind of control. Microsoft and Mojang are keeping these still kind of restricted because they're not really sure what to do with them yet. This is all still super new, but it's all still pretty fun. But alright, my friends, that is update 2 to the Dragonfire add-on. Version 1.2 is now live and should have rolled out yesterday. If you haven't gotten the update yet, just make sure you check the marketplace. update your realms or your personal worlds, and you should be riding on your very own bee dragon in no time. Again, if you guys found this video helpful, or any of my other videos helpful, or entertaining in any way, do me a huge favor, smash that subscribe button, hit the bell next to it so you can stay up to date with all my latest content. Links to my Discord and all my socials can also be found down below if you guys want to come hang out and chat. I'm active almost every single day, and I'd love to hear from you guys. But for today, that's all for me for now. Wolf, out!